Hi, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I got the
am a
meditation
money
music
magnet.
going. So come on in here. Drop your B1.
I can feel my
Let me know you're in the
abundance
house
growing
because
daily.
this is the home for intelligent Black people. So drop your B1. Let me know you're
My
here. I'm going to
income
make sure I
is
have it
constantly increasing.
on Instagram. Okay,
Money
we did
comes to
that.
me easily and effortlessly.
All right, all right. Get in here this morning. Make sure you hit the share, subscribe
Money
button because I'm gonna
constantly
talk
flows
about something
into
that
my
is
life.
near and dear to my heart. Let me turn this down so I'm not yelling at y'all. Come on in here, hit the share and subscribe button. Mary Dean Esquire here at the wallstreetlawyer.com, coming to you live on blackwallstreet.com because Black wealth is critical to Black power. We're also coming live on Fly Nubian Queen, where Black women have a voice. And I am one of those proud Black women to have a voice on Fly Nubian Queen. So shout out to Dr. Boyce Watkins, and make sure you drop your B1 because we believe that it is essential for Black people to put Black people first. Everybody put themselves first. And look out for their own, and there's nothing wrong with building community because and taking care of your house first before you, because they even tell you on the airplane when your airplane is about to go down, you get the call. It says make sure you put on the oxygen mask on you before you put the oxygen mask on anybody else. And that's because if you can't breathe, if you die, then you can't save anyone else. But if you're healthy, you take care of yourself first, and you can then become hero and save other people. But love begins at home. So drop your B1 in the chat. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here. We're going to talk about the number one reasons you are not making money in your business. from chaos to cash flow. How systems can transform your business. I always say, does McDonald's make the best burgers? No. And I would strongly advise you not to eat them. But do they have, where they were one of the first originators to deliver the same nasty, toxic burger to millions of Americans across the United States of America? Yes, they did that. And they did that by mastering systems, doing the same thing over and over again like clockwork, having these systems documented to the point where they can have an illiterate 16-year-old in high school who can do it whether they because they're following this system that has been tried and true to deliver the same exact burger, the same exact meal, the same exact branded item to its customers year after year, day after day, just like clockwork. And so that's the difference between running your business like a mom and pop shop versus running that business like a true business, a business that you can one day step away from, and it will still systematically do what it is that you need to do. So hit the share and subscribe button, drop a comment. Let me see who's here. Let me see who's here. Mary Dean Esquire here at the wallstreetlawyer.com, coming to you live. So, okay, so let's get into this because I do have a free lift assessment on my website. Let you get a good look at that. My 20-point lift assessment. Shout out. Let me just say this. We talk about Black people putting Black people first and Black power because that's my brand, because that's my mission. It's something that I'm very passionate about, always have been. But I want to give a shout out to one of my sisters, Allie Katz, one of my mentors, actually, where I really learned these systems. And she really taught a really good program that I took where I was able to understand where I learned about the lift systems and was able to work with her and license it and offer that system to you guys. And so the lift systems is the legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems that every business needs to lift that business to the next level. And what we call it on Black Wall Street is our Black Wall Street lift systems. And so it's my purpose, passion, and mission to lift all businesses by making sure that you have these solid foundation of these things. Now, let me tell you what's in them. We got the legal is going to cover incorporating and maintaining your business entity, all of the written agreements that you may need in place. Do you have a legally compliant team structure? Do you have your teaming? Does everybody, who's doing what and what they should be doing? Are you protected intellectually? Is your intellectual property protected? Copyrights, trademarks, brand names, slogans, packages, anything, is that protected? And are you protected for incapacity as death? That's your estate planning side. That is, do you have a will, trust? How are you making sure that your business is handled in the case that you should pass away? That's called, in particularly, business succession planning. So that's the legal component. Then insurance. Insurance, you're getting do you have proper home and auto coverage? Health insurance. Business coverage. Everybody's business coverage is going to be different from business to business and brand to brand. And so what you may not need, like I have another client that I interviewed the other day, and he has $1 million policy in defamation insurance because he runs a popular YouTube channel. Now, you may not need $1 million policy for defamation because that is not your line of business. So are you properly insured for your particular type of business? Do you have life insurance? Are you making sure that your loved ones are provided for in the case that you should pass away, or do you have insurance in place in case you become incapacitated, which goes back to legal? That's why you want to have that trust, because you want those proceeds to pay into a trust. But I digress. Do you have your financial systems dialed in? Your financial system would mean, do you have your money map numbers? So sometimes you'll hear me talk about your money map numbers. And I say, everybody want to be a millionaire, but no one can really tell me their particular financial plan to getting there. And so you want to make sure you have those money map numbers dialed in. Some people can't even tell you their actual budget and how much money they're actually spending on a weekly, on a monthly basis in their business. So they don't know they're in the red until they know they're in the red, and the light bulb is danger, danger, danger. And I'm really trying to get you guys to avoid the reacting, and let's become more proactive in our business, so that we are about the business of making money and not just responding to fires and putting out fires, but that we are building an empire that is going to pay us dividends year after year, month after month, and week after week. So do you have your financial systems dialed in? Are you working with a bookkeeper? Do you have your historic numbers? Do you know what you've been spending in the past? That's your historic expense tracking. Future, which allows you to do future financial planning. Do you have weekly review reports? Do you know what numbers you should be looking at on a weekly basis? If you don't, then go back and watch my live that I did last week. The last one that I did right before this one, actually. I discussed what numbers you should be looking at on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis. And so that you can do your monthly and quarterly analysis. Are you doing that? Do you know how to do that? And if you don't, and you want me to show you how and maybe lead you to setting up those trust accounts and teaching you how to work with your bookkeeper, then you will be an excellent candidate, excellent candidate. So schedule that consultation so I can help you dial that in. Tax is the last pillar in our legal, insurance, financial, and tax systems. Are you current on your tax filings? Do you have clarity on your tax filings? Do you have proper savings to pay these taxes? Are you current on paying taxes? And do you have a strategy in place to minimize those taxes? So those are the pillars of the legal, insurance, and financial and tax systems that every business needs to lift that business to the next level. I do go in detail about those systems in my book, blackwallstreet.com, How to Build a Thriving Black Business Using the Laws of the Universe. The first section goes over the laws of the universe, the laws like the law of attraction, the laws like the law of rhythm, the law of transmutation, the law of adversity, the one that I've coined. But then in the second part, we go through the laws of the land. And as we go through the laws of the land, I break down and get into the details of those systems. And so that you can learn more about implementing those systems in your life. And if you want to purchase this book, it is on Amazon, and I dropped a link in the description here. So it's right there for you. And yes, my book is endorsed by Dr. Iyanla Benzon. I will never get tired of saying that. Truly, one time where I turned a problem into one of the most brilliant opportunities. And I do thank her for her support. And I thank her for what she said. I thank her for what she said about my book. And so, back to the topic at hand. The number one reason, this is what we came in here for to discuss. The number one reason why your business is not making money. And I have to say, what are the ABCs of business? What is the one thing everybody know in business? They say it like clockwork. Always be closing. Always be closing. The ABCs of business. Always be closing. And a lot of times, I talk about the difference between an artist versus a businessman. And trust me, I overstand. I overstand because I too am an artist. I'm an attorney, artist, and activist. So I understand how you want to make it pretty and you want to make it presentable. And sometimes it's not even about anyone else. The artist is just an artist about they. And so there's just that process of creating and writing and rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. And because honestly, the best writing is rewriting. So I get it. And so you want to tinker with it and tinker with it and tinker with it. But one of the things that I've always found that while the artist is continually tinkering with it and tinkering with it and tinkering with it, the businessman has sold it 10 times over, hand over fist. And he's off somewhere living in his retirement while the artist is still creating and creating away. And so you don't want to be that artist. You want to have a time when, yes, you're creating and you may always rewrite it, but at some point you got to sell it. At some point you have to bless it, pass the torch to God and the higher power, which is why for the artist, the best way to reel that energy in is to give yourself deadlines, to have time limits, to put dates on the calendar, dates that you have an obligation to fulfill to yourself and to maybe someone else, a third party. Those dates help you reel in that artist creativity because you don't need to tinker with it forever. Let's see. We got somebody, Scoop Mills. Thanks for the info, dear. By the way, you look lovely. Oh, thank you. Y'all like my big old hair? My last live was I was giving it to him. It was giving it to me, but I just decided to go with it. But thanks for the love. Thanks for the love. Yeah. So the artist versus the businessman. You want to become a businessman about your art. You want to become a businessman about your business. And one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that you are using systems, that you have a time that you are getting up, which it affects, time that you have to be up, a time that you have to start getting on the phone, banging out those calls, the times that you have to do, artist development, business development, a day that you work on the business. Let me see the chart that for me, I've found this system from a sister that I've been using lately, and I kind of really like it. And so and I can't think of her name right now, but I follow her on Instagram, and I saw this for her system, and I said, you know what, let me jot that down. And it's another system I'm going to start trying out that I learned from Fire Savvy. But for hers, it's a CEO day on Mondays, team day on Tuesdays, deep work day on Wednesdays, client call day on Thursdays, and catch up and recharge day on Friday. Or, signing day is what I have for my estate planning clients. So yeah, that's, which is your Monday through Friday. And I've been using that system, with a tweak of the difference. I, instead of having all of my client calls on Thursday, I use Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday is supposed to be the team call day. So I just, call day. If I'm not on the phone with clients, you're on the phone with team workers, because no one ever won a Super Bowl by themselves. And so you do have team members that you're working with, be it the person that you're hiring to organize and build out your website, to the person that you're hiring to do your print. These are all team members. With just because you don't have them on a monthly payroll, don't mean that they're not a part of your team. Once you pay someone to do some work for you that is in the furtherance of your business, which is also tax deductible, right? Those, because it is in the furtherance of your company. Once you hire someone, that person is your team member. So yeah, Tuesday and Thursdays are client call day and team member call day. That's the only alter, but I like that. I like that system. So and you're gonna have a lot of systems in your business. But when you want to think about it. When you franchise the business, when the business becomes franchised, what is it that you are actually selling? You are selling the brand, your unique brand, the way you do it, your brand, and your systems for how you deliver on your clients, your systems for how you deliver the same widget to millions of people year after year. Your systems of your brand plus your systems of how you're, doing what it is that you do to make your money. That's the long and short of, to me, of what a franchise is. You heard it here first, folks. Marye Dean Esquire here at the wallstreetlawyer.com. Make sure you hit the share and subscribe button, because we dropped in a couple of nuggets today. We're talking about how to transform your business from chaos to cash flow using systems, making sure that you are doing the same thing systematically, that you're able to run like, because here's what we know. America it is a corporation. It is the ultimate system that we are working within. And they want their bills paid systematically. There are things that come like clockwork every single month. And so because you have those systems, you need to make sure your business is able to produce within those systems. Now, look, I didn't make the rules. You don't like it, go live off in another country somewhere, or be a job dependent slave to your job. But if you want true freedom in your own life and in your own business, you're going to have to, adopt some of those things so that you can create the job until your job is a true, but you can create that for yourself systematically. And so that is how you do it from a logical perspective. From a spiritual, before I go to the spiritual side, let me, if your business is not classified as a true business, what does the IRS will declassify it for you, and they will call your business a hobby. Okay. They will say, look, the IRS will give you X amount of years. I think it's 2 years. You can not turn a profit. 2 to 3 years. 3 years is kind of pushing it, where you're starting and you're not actually, you can carry a loss. But after that, they're going to say, look, you're not really in business, because your business is never making any money. Your business is a hobby. And don't none of y'all out there want to have your business classified as a hobby. Okay. And so you have to be producing. You have to be, producing an income, producing a profit. And you want to do that through utilizing some good systems in place. Systems for, banging out the phone. I remember the Black Bulls of Wall Street. There was this, they would cold call like the Wolf of Wall Street, but no, we weren't wolves. We were the Black Bulls of Wall Street. And they had a system. He would do so many phone calls every single day. And that was the system, because it was a numbers game, right? So many people, you're going to get so many no's and so many yeses. So how many people are you actually talking to? And they would pitch in their stocks to back in the day. And so you have a system like that, a system for reaching out to clients, a system for reaching out to the community, a system for introducing yourself and your business online and on the internet. Do you have those kind of systems? A lead generation system is the terms that they use for the internet. Are you doing some email marketing? What are you doing? Actually, me going live here is a system that I've had to implement, that I've chosen to be consistent with in my own business, because that is, for me, is one way that I can put myself out there and talk to you consistently, and start the conversation and find those people who will gravitate and want to work with me. And if you are one of those people, then I dropped the link in the description here. And so then, the system of how can I serve? Because as you give, that's another law in the book, the law of giving and receiving. As you give, so much is going to be given back unto you. And that's just, another one is the law of karma. That's the stuff behind what is working behind the law of karma. Marye D. Esquire here at the wallstreetlawyer.com, coming to you live on blackwallstreet.com, because Black wealth is critical to Black power. Also streaming live on Fly Nubian Queen, the network for melanated people, a network where Black women have a voice. And I am one of those proud Black women. So shout out to Dr. Boyce Watkins for working with me and allowing me to work with him. So yeah, we're just talking about the importance of having systems, people, because systems are so important. Is how you're going to be able to deliver to your customer, to your client, day after day, month after month, and year after year. And once you get predictable, that's how you really become sustainable in business. Everything, it's not about, when it's one of my favorite sayings is, they say cash is king. Cash is king, but if you don't have the cash, then what else is? Consistency is king. If you keep showing up in your business consistently, the cash will flow. The cash will flow. The cash will flow. So another thing, did I say I was going to talk about this? Yeah, I'm going to talk about this because I talk about a lot of transmutation and the power of transmuting energy into something else. And if you have not read this book, please get it. It's Think and Grow Rich, right? They said the average millionaire has read this book at least 3 times. They said Oprah Winfrey read the book 4 times. Think and Grow Rich is one of the books that came into my awareness right after I discovered The Secret, that teaches about the law of attraction. And so, I grew up in the church and I grew up very religious, and there was always this, we learned about prayer, you learn about God, you learn about how to ask God for stuff and how to have a personal relationship, and how to be able to cut all the lights off and know that God is there. And so I always was very curious about God and very curious. And then when I became an attorney, that brain just opened up, and curiosity, they say it killed the cat, but it opens up the woman. So let me tell you about that. Opens up the woman. So, as I became to understand more and really study more, I started to get into things like Think and Grow Rich, and really wanted to understand the full range of thought, and understand that every single thought that you think really is a prayer, because I am a God manifested in human form, always having a human experience. I mean, my soul is having a human experience. My human is having a soul experience. You cannot really separate the two. And so then, you start to understand the power of every thought. And as I started to really get into that, and get into business more, one thing that I noticed in every multimillionaire's office that I went into on Wall Street, they all had this book on their desk. They swore by this book. And one of some of the most intelligent men that I've ever met lived in New York City. Because New York City they say New York, it leans you out. You have got the best and the brightest will rise to the top. Everybody else get ate up and spit back out. But no, you had to be the best. And so I found that some of the most educated men, those men were readers. They were people that wanted to know more because they wanted to be better. And so the millionaires introduced me to Think and Grow Rich. And I started to understand the power of thought. And one of my favorite chapters in here is it's a chapter on the power of power of the mastermind. We talk about that. The power of the mastermind, the driving force. But no, that's not my favorite. One of my favorite chapters is where he talks about sex transmutation. Yeah, that's everybody's favorite chapter, right? Yeah, nope, sex transmutation. Uh, because sexual energy is creative energy. And oftentimes, and what they say about Black people, that we are hypersexual. Hypersexuality is a gift. That means you have hyper life force. Now that don't mean you go out there and be a freak of the week. Actually, that's the wrong way to use that power. The best way to use that power is to transmute it into certain into something else. Creative energy, to transmute that energy into your work. You can create life. Actually, pause. Let me take that back. The best way to use that energy is to create real life, because our children are our future. But once you have, after that, after creating real life and using that life force to bring that new life force into the world, the next best thing to create with that chi, raw energy, life force, is going to be anything else that you want to create in the world. Anything else that you want to, manifest. And so I found that, and it talks about either a healthy monogamous relationship where that sexual energy can be recycled back into you, and so then you can grow in power, which I've witnessed. I've seen what a true loving relationship. My one of my favorite clients, her and her husband, have built a multi-million-dollar business together just on pure love and really having that strong bond and someone to support you. I've seen what it do with that. But transmuting that energy into something else, into your business, into your art. And the other way, if it's not going to be in that healthy relationship where that energy is recycled, then the next best thing is going to be celibacy. I know it, y'all don't want to hear that, but celibacy is sitting in that sexual energy, transmuting it into your success, into your business, into your growth, into your workout, into that, sitting in your life force and having that extra life energy. I rode that bicycle from Houston to New Orleans one time. My workouts be insane, but no, I digress. But the 10 mind stimuli. This is a good book to read. This is one on my reading list, the 10 mind stimuli, talking about the things that open up your mind to infinite intelligence. And at the top of that list is the desire for sexual expression, which is why we know that they always say sex sells. And so this is a book, Think and Grow Rich, that I recommend everybody. And oh, there it is. Why people seldom succeed before the age of 40. That's what he talks about. And he says, because really you are wasting your sexual energy, that it is scattered all over the place, and so is your mind. And so, when there's some truth to that when they say, the billionaire says, how did he do it? He got with one girl and got with her and built something great. There's truth to that. And so I've always been of the if I can't have the relationship of my dreams, then I definitely would rather relate to myself and recycle that energy into my business. And I have seen I've been the success level has been phenomenal because of that. So that is one thing that you can do with it. Yes. Somebody said Happy Women's History Month to you. Shout out to Allie Katz for teaching me the lift systems, and so that I could bring those lift systems to you. I appreciate you for all that you've done. If you want my book, remember, it's on Amazon. I dropped the link in the description below. Marye Dean Esquire here at the wallstreetlawyer.com, coming to you live on blackhistory.com, because Black wealth is critical to Black power. And I'm out.